with a chance to take the lead. Kaepernick, end zone, Crabtree, broken up, picked off. This game is over.
Welcome back, folks, to 12 Minutes of Your Time. I'm Mike Bailey. This is Ryan Bailey, and we're here to preview the Week 2 matchup, Seattle at New England, 10 a.m. game. Seattle is a 3.5 point favorite as of now. Well, it probably jumped a few half points, but either way, this is 12 minutes, so we're going to start the timer now. All right, Ryan. New England upset Cincinnati last week in Week 1, and from what it looks like, New England mainly just controlled the ball, was able to force some turnovers with Cincinnati, a couple of 2.5 sacks from Keon White. And they really just ran the ball and controlled possession and were able to sneak out a 16-10 win. So we're both 1-0 heading into Week 2.
Yeah, I mean, that's how they want to play the football game is just run the football and not get beat by bad quarterback play. Because even though Jacoby Brissett's a good quarterback, he's not a great quarterback. He's not, he's not going to win you too many games just by himself. But if you can run the football 40 plus times, control the clock, and keep the defense from having to be out there on the field so much that you can stop a high-powered offense like Joe Burrow's, who though was a lot of holdouts going into this thing. T. Higgins didn't play. Like there was just a lot of slowness, and there was slowness all over the NFL Week 1 on offense. So, a team like a defensive team or a rushing team could take advantage Week 1, where I don't think that's going to work out Week 2 or Week 3 or Week 4 for a team like the Patriots.
Yeah, that's great points about Brissett. In general, he's not going to beat us. It's going to be more about them just not making mistakes, which they really didn't. I think they had one fumble. Actually, no, I don't even think they turned the ball over. Stevenson fumbled, but it wasn't lost, and Brissett
Yeah.
didn't throw. Anybody else didn't throw a touchdown, and he only had they had like a 7.8 yard average or something like that. So, yeah, they ran the ball 39 times compared to 24 times. Um, KJ Osborne didn't have 6 targets. That was the high for the Patriots receiving corps.
Mhm.
But nobody had more than 3 receptions or 31 yards. And I don't
Yeah.
think they're really going to exploit the way our defensive backs and safeties played last week. That may be a huge challenge for them.
I mean, from what it sounds like, they're not going to throw the football against us. Like, why would they want
Yes.
to? So they're going to try to do the same thing, run the football. So Jenkins is going to have to come down from safety and play that, extra linebacker back there and really come down and hit hard. Everyone's going to like everyone in the box is going to have to hit and tackle first, and get off their blocks and go get the guy with the ball. And obviously Witherspoon's going to have to go down and tackle. Everyone's just going to have to tackle the run because they're not going to throw the ball against Witherspoon and Reek and Trey Brown. Like they're just not going to throw against those guys.
Yeah, our depth is probably our defensive back depth, talent wise, is probably exceeds massively over the wide receiver depth at talent. Do you think we run a lot of man to man, and that's what we do? Is we put that extra man in the box and just let them like dare them to throw against Witherspoon and Woolen and the safeties.
Yeah, I think so. I don't see anyone on that wide receiver team that should beat our corners one on one. Just won't. There's no one who's talent like they're not even like physical specimens over there at like the wide receiver position at the Patriots. Like not great route runners. Like they're not going to dominate anybody. So
I would
I
agree. I
say
think that's a very black and white thing. And New England probably knows that as well. So I would expect Mike McDonald to load the box up a lot, stop the run, um, a very downhill game, go both ways for them and us. Downhill, downhill, downhill.
yeah.
Not a lot of wasted space or time with lateral, unless it's going to be something to stretch the field and get our safeties maybe to or our linebackers to do too much lateral.
But it would be nice to jump out to a big lead. So I would like to score fast. That's what I would like to do. I'd like to score
Okay.
fast and get the Patriots nervous that they'll have to throw the football and try to get them out of their game plan from having to run, 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 run. Like score
Right.
fast, get up, be up 14, and then to get nervous and get out of their game plan. And once they're out of their game plan, you can get a turnover, get a pick, and then hold on to the ball and then run the football. So that's how I'd like to see it play out.
That's a great point. And when you mention something like that, it reminds me of soccer. Once you score a few points, goals in soccer, it makes the other team open up the field more, which more mistakes can happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Gets them out
I
of their
mean,
game plan.
yeah, because I mean, obviously Gerard Mayo was a great player, and first game is a win. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to be a good coach as well. He's going to have his guys at least ready to play football every week. So if you
Yes.
can get him out of his game plan or get them out of their comfort zone, once he's out of his comfort zone, then he's open up to make mistakes, and those players will be out of position so that we can capitalize. Because he does not have great players. Like that's just a fact. Like even though they were down -7 or whatever against the Bengals, and then even today at home -3.5 against a team that against us who only beat the Broncos. Like they think the New England Patriots are a terrible team.
Yeah, not a lot of talent, probably just well coached and disciplined. And that's a great point about Mayo. It's only his second week as a head coach, just like McDonald. They're
Yeah.
probably least familiar with themselves since they were both AFC teams. They probably played each other the past couple of years. But once again, Mike McDonald was only a defensive coordinator there for 2 seasons, so maybe they don't have a lot of information on him.
Hmm.
But they are familiar with each other, both on the same playing field as coaching wise experience.
Hmm.
New England, they didn't really do much on D. I mean, they did force a couple turnovers and they had the sacks, but Burrow wasn't that bad. He was 21 to 29. Gino has a very high completion percentage, so
Amazing.
maybe Gino, yeah. So maybe Gino, you're right. Maybe we exploit their pass defense or lack thereof with high completion percentage and successfully running the ball. I'm a little nervous about our guards. So I guess we're about 7 minutes in, so this is a good time to mention Kenneth Walker is inactive along with Nwosu, but this will be Zach Charbonnet and who's the third string? I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head. McIntosh.
Oh, McIntosh, yeah.
Yeah, so this could be Charbonnet and McIntosh's time to shine. Week 2, it's warm weather in New England, and they just downhill, downhill, downhill both ways.
Yeah, I'm not too worried. Like we, we haven't had a running back play a full season since like maybe Chris Carson did it 1 year, but other than Marshawn Lynch doing it. So we're talking about like 10 years of going through running backs throughout a season that now, him going down a game, Kenneth Walker going down a game does not bother me as much as it would have bothered me in the past. That's why we have Charbonnet, is because he can go out there and go just play just as well or, still have a good game for us in the run and in the run. And from what I saw of McIntosh on the preseason, he looked phenomenal. I'm not worried about the run game. What I'm more worried about is, yeah, still not having Nwosu on this defense frustrates me. But losing George Fant as well, who's basically our second string right tackle. So now we're going to go to Forsyth, who's our third string right tackle. It's like you have to make sure you don't let White on the Patriots go and just take advantage of him.
Great point. Great point on making sure we help Stone Forsythe. And also, you're right. That's something Bill would have done. Jared, it was under Bill. They'll
Yeah.
exploit those huge weaknesses as much as they can to make
Hmm.
mistakes. So yeah, we shift our O line to the right to help Stone. We chip we with Fant. We also don't have Pharaoh Brown again, the other tight end, a big tight end. One thing with the rush game, New England seemed to do well. Bengals only ran it 16 times for 70 yards. However, no Joe Mixon, who was very successful week 1 for the Texans. So maybe that's
Yeah.
something that they is more of the talent. Whereas, and going back for Charbonnet, a second round pick, and
Hmm.
also views himself as a number 1 back.
Hmm. Yeah. Uh yeah, I don't know. It was funny seeing Mixon have such a great first week and
Right.
then the Bengals
Yeah.
lose. It's it's ironic. Like you usually see the other way around.
I follow a Bengals guy on Twitter who was adamant that Mixon's losing a step. He's not what he was, and rightfully so. He's at least 5 years into the league, if not six.
Hmm.
But he does score touchdowns. He's smart as a runner inside the tackles. So
Hmm.
hopefully Charbonnet can step up and yeah, he's got the light on him. Once again, it's in New England. The weather's nice. It's only week two. He's fresh. I'm just more worried about our offensive line with Stone Forsythe and our guard play. Hopefully Connor Williams and Charles Cross can really carry us. We got about 2 minutes left, Ryan. Is there anything else you want to mention? Are you nervous about traveling that far or anything else?
I mean, we've been a pretty good. I mean, it's a different coach now, but there's still a lot of people in the organization still from Pete's era, and we've always been good traveling East Coast 10 a.m. That's not really our problem because I don't know. McDonald talked about it. They just track your sleep, and that's basically what they do. Is they just tell you
Yeah,
you have to go to bed at this time. I don't know if they're putting people to sleep or what they're doing, but it's working because we win 10 a.m. games.
yeah.
And then
Um,
I'm the only thing I'm worried about is like I don't you can't see the same mistakes come back up, right? So you go from week one, right? We saw a bad first half, good second half, right? And then we go week two. I don't want to see another bad first half, good second half. I want to see a good first half, run the ball second half, right? Like
yeah,
score points, finish out the game, score points, finish out the game. I want to see a better, or at least I mean, it could be a rough first quarter, that's fine, but it can't be a rough second quarter. Like I want to see some progression from what I saw because it was one of the worst offensive outputs in that first half where sacks, turnovers, penalties, 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 penalties. So got to clean that stuff up. If they can clean up one thing, like oh no sacks the first half, wow, great. Maybe they didn't clean up the penalties, but at least something to show me. That's what I
yeah.
like to see.
We got about 20 seconds left, so I'll wrap this up. I agree. Let's start well. That way, our second half can be even just good enough to win. Put the ball in Gino's hands. If we have any type of lead and you got the ball in Gino's hands, that's fine. And then you're right. Let's go back to one of our original points: is get them off their game plan, make them throw, make Brissett win the game.
Yeah.
Once again, Vegas has this around 3.5 points, give or take. So hopefully they're right this time. Um, Anyways, this is 12 minutes. This is 12 minutes of your time with Mike Bailey and Ryan Bailey. Let's go Hawks and let's get that win.
Go Hawks, baby.